They call me Vera, the voice that whispers when the world goes silent. I bring you tales the night tried to forget, stories buried in shadows, stitched together by fear. If you can still hear me, then you're not alone. Welcome to my world. Welcome to the Whispering Lady. I had just turned 20 when I decided enough was enough. My parents weren't bad people, but privacy was non-existent at home. My room had no lock, my mom barged in at random hours, and my dad constantly asked where I was going, with who, and why. I couldn't breathe. I needed space. So I moved out. I didn't go far, just a 35-minute drive from their house in a dull, aging apartment complex at the edge of town. The building was gray, cracked at the edges, with iron railings rusted to the color of dried blood. But it was cheap, and most importantly, it was mine. One bedroom, a tiny kitchen, a cramped bathroom, and an overly quiet hallway. It felt like freedom. The first week was bliss. I slept whenever I wanted, blasted music, cooked shirtless, even walked around half naked. Like a king. Nobody knocked, nobody asked, nobody judged. That Friday, I invited my friends over for a small get-together. Just laughs, stories, drinks, and maybe a horror movie or two, nothing big. Just me, Kevin, Tariq, and Jonas. They brought chips and cheap whiskey, and for hours we sat in a circle on the floor, laughing about old high school stories and roasting each other. By midnight, Kevin and Tariq called it a night, but Jonas lived across the city and asked if he could crash on my couch. I agreed, obviously. I had a new place now. I could do things like that. Around 2 a.m., we finally turned everything off and went to sleep. I took the bed. Jonas stretched out on the couch. The place was silent. And then I heard footsteps in the kitchen. Not creaking pipes. Not old building sounds. Footsteps, one after another. Soft, slow, deliberate, moving across the linoleum floor. I froze. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I waited, listening. Maybe Jonas got up. Maybe he was hungry or looking for water. I called out, "Yo, Jonas?" No answer. I called again, louder this time. Still no answer. I sat up in bed and listened harder. Silence. I tiptoed toward the kitchen, heart pounding like a war drum. When I peeked around the corner, Jonas was still passed out on the couch, arm dangling off the edge, snoring. The kitchen was empty. The lights were off. The chairs were still. The fridge hummed softly. I stood there for a full minute, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. That maybe I was just jumpy from all the horror movies we watched. Eventually, I went back to bed, but I didn't sleep. The next morning, Jonas asked why I looked like I hadn't slept. I told him about the footsteps. He laughed it off and said, I was finally hearing the music of adulthood. Funny, that night, Jonas left. I was alone again. And that's when things got worse. It started small, subtle, but it all felt wrong. The sound of the faucet dripping, even though I was sure. I'd shut it tight. The bathroom door slowly swinging open on its own. My phone dying even when I had 40% battery. Then came the knocking. 3 soft knocks on my front door, always at 3:12 a.m. every night. I checked the peephole every time. No one. The third night. I tried something new. I didn't open the door. I didn't move. I just stared through the peephole, waiting. And after a minute, I saw it. A shape, not a person. Just a dark shape, standing just outside the peephole's field of view. It didn't move. It didn't knock again. It just stood there. I didn't sleep that night either. By the 4th night, the noises weren't limited to the kitchen anymore. I started hearing whispering. Not full sentences, just the soft, unintelligible muttering of someone talking right outside my bedroom door. When I opened the door, silence. But when I closed it again, whispers, like someone telling secrets inches from my ear. I told Jonas. I even recorded the hallway one night, set my phone up facing the door with the camera rolling. When I played it back in the morning, the footage was black. It recorded nothing. Just an hour of complete darkness. But here's the thing, I never turned the lights off. 2 weeks in, I was losing sleep, losing weight, and losing my mind. I'd wake up with scratches on my legs, red and burning like something had crawled into bed with me. I heard laughter, sometimes not loud, more like stifled giggling from a woman's voice. I kept the TV on at night for comfort, but even that started to act up. The screen would flicker to static, and I'd hear my name whispered faintly from the speakers. Jason, always my name, whispered, just once, then silence. Then came the worst night of all. I woke up around 3 a.m., sweating, heart racing. The apartment felt heavy, like the air itself was thick. My bedroom door was open. I never sleep with it open. At first I thought maybe I forgot, maybe I was just tired. But then I heard something breathing, slow, raspy, inside my room. I sat up, my eyes adjusted to the darkness slowly. And in the corner near the closet, I saw it. A woman, standing, head tilted, hair hanging forward, bare feet. She was whispering something, over and over again. Let me in, let me in, let me in. My throat locked up. I couldn't scream, couldn't move. Then she ran at me. I blinked. She was gone. My door slammed shut by itself. I didn't sleep. I didn't move. I just sat there until morning light poured through the window. I tried to leave the apartment that day, tried to go back to my parents' house. But my car wouldn't start. The engine was dead. I called a tow truck. The driver never showed up. I tried Uber, none available. It was like something wanted me to stay, trapped. The next day, I barely spoke. I paced the apartment in silence. Every time I glanced toward the bedroom door, I imagined her, that woman, standing there again, whispering, let me in. I didn't even know what that meant. And where? Wasn't she already inside? That night, I didn't try to sleep. I kept every light on. I sat on the floor in the living room with my back to the wall and a kitchen knife in my hand, shaking like a leaf. I kept the TV on low volume just for some noise. Around 2:50 a.m., the static returned. The screen flashed. For a split second, instead of the usual static, I saw something. My bedroom. The view was from inside the closet. Then static again. I almost threw up. The camera angle didn't come from any camera I owned. I didn't even have anything in the closet. It was just darkness, wire hangers, and that sour smell of mold. Yet somehow, something was watching me from inside. I slammed the closet shut and dragged the heaviest chair I had in front of it. I don't know why I thought that would stop Harriet, but I was desperate. The next day, I begged Jonas to come over. He took some convincing. He said I looked pale, unstable, paranoid, but he came anyway. We stayed up late, and I told him everything. Jonas tried to stay logical, said maybe I had sleep paralysis, said maybe I was stressed and hallucinating. But that night, around 3 a.m., we both heard it. Footsteps. Jonas sat up straight on the couch. Was that you? I shook my head slowly. The steps moved from the kitchen to the bathroom. Then silence. We grabbed the knife and a flashlight. We searched the apartment, nothing. But then we noticed something new. The mirror in the bathroom had handprints on the inside. Small, wet, smudged handprints. like someone was pressing from behind the glass. Jonas turned pale. Yo, are you messing with me? I swear to God, I'm not. That was the last night Jonas stayed over. Over the next few days, I tried everything. Sage and incense. The smoke blew backwards against the draft. A priest refused to enter the building once I gave him the address. A psychic online told me the name Mariel and then blocked me. I even tried sleeping at a hotel. When I woke up, I had a note slipped under the door. It just said, "You let me in." I checked the security footage at the front desk. No one had been in the hallway all night. I started researching the building. I went to the town archives, looking through records, old newspapers, anything I could find. That's when I found it. Apartment 4B mine. In 2007, a 26-year-old woman named Mariel Grant had lived there. She filed multiple noise complaints, always. At 3 a.m. claiming she heard footsteps and whispers. Neighbors thought she was mentally ill. One day, she stopped showing up to work. Landlord went in to check. They found her body inside the bedroom closet. She had clawed the inside of the door so violently her nails were torn off. Her face was frozen, a look of absolute terror. They said she died of extreme cardiac arrest brought on by psychological stress. But no one could explain the words carved into the closet wall behind her. Let me in. After that, I started packing. I didn't care about the lease. I didn't care about the rent. I just wanted out. But the night before I planned to leave, she came back. I woke up to the sound of whispers right beside my bed, not from the hallway. From inside the room, I rolled over and saw her, Mariel. She was crouched at the edge of the bed, her mouth stretched open in a sick, silent scream, her eyes locked on mine. Her hands were twitching like she was trying to climb into my skin. I couldn't move. She leaned in closer until her lips were at my ear and hissed, "You let me in, now it's your turn." I passed out. When I woke up, it was daylight. She was gone, but something was different. The apartment felt calmer, still, too still. That day I moved out, I never went back for my deposit. I didn't tell the landlord why. I just left the keys in the mailbox and blocked the address from every map on my phone. But it's been weeks now, and I still hear knocking at 3:12 a.m. in my parents' house, in the new apartment I moved to, even when I sleep in hotels. And last night, when I looked in the bathroom mirror, I saw 2 wet handprints slowly appear behind the glass.